Happy Saturday evening, y'all. We're a little late doing the video. Had a lot of yard work to do. But I'm gonna turn the camera around. We promised you guys a DIY semi whole home generator setup. And what Mr. Buddy's gonna do is he's gonna start as if you were starting from scratch. So this will help you guys out if you're interested in making a semi-homemade whole home generator setup as we have here. So I'm gonna leave it to him, but also there's a disclaimer. If you're not familiar with electricity, get some help, okay? But this is easy. 18,000 whole home Generac or 1,800 or less. Do the same thing except you have to turn the key yourself. So I'm gonna leave it to Mr. Buddy.
Well, how's everybody doing today? We'll start off with this generator. This is a Briggs & Stratton S6500. And this is the generator that actually I have not had this very long. Maybe 2 months now, I think.
Three, something like that.
But it's electric start with a battery, okay? Got a key start. Reason being is for Lippy. If you have older, handicap, somebody that's just not as strong, don't want to snatch and pull on a pull cord, go with the electric start. It's not that much difference in price. All right, this one is 6,500 watts running, okay? So whatever's running continuously, it'll do 6,500 watts. 8,200 starting watts. All right, so we're talking milliseconds. When you're starting an electric motor, you're starting a refrigerator, a freezer, air conditioning, when you're kicking a compressor on, that's where your starting watts come in. This is what's toting your load running. So with that being said, I would suggest if you're doing a DIY, if you have a lot of electric, like we're total electric, but for the most part, if you've got a lot of electricity in your house and you're not just trying to run one or two little things, about a 6,500 watt running capacity is where I'd go. I would also keep it at 8 to 9,500 on starting watts if you are total electric, and I'll tell you why, the benefit of that here in just a little bit when we get to that. I've got this one sitting here, and you can see we're under homemade lean-to here, right? Before I got down, that was my project I was working on, was building a lean-to here to be able to put this generator and some other tooling under here. That didn't happen, so we done the best thing we could right here until I can get back to where I can. But the generator's set up under here. It's out of the weather, out of the rain, and I'll show you. If you are just going to run extension cords, everybody that's done it before, you know that's a pain. You got to run them through your house. That means a window's open, a door's open, or something there for critters to come in, bugs, and you put it in the garage. Well, then you got to worry about carbon monoxide. You know, there's a lot of factors in that. So I happen to have power out here to the shed. We'll get into further if you don't here in a little bit. I just installed a 50 amp, just like an RV plug. Bought the plug and then made a little patch cord, all right, with a generator plug on it. This is a 30 amp generator plug that goes to your generator. So I unhooked this just for this video purpose. It always stays hooked up, but I'll just take it and it goes in here in your 30 amp plug, and I leave mine hooked up just like that. So now when the power goes out, and we're going to go through all that, the way I have mine set up here is I can backfeed this line, and it's on a 50 amp breaker. Actually, I've got this on a 40 amp, but it will backfeed to the house, okay? So I don't have to worry about extension cords running, tripping over them, doors open, windows open. It's a matter of flipping a sequence of breakers. You're backfeeding your electric panel in the house. We'll show you in a little bit. We cut the main off to SWEPCO or whoever you got, and you don't have to worry about it. Once it's fired up, we'll show you what we can run, because we're going to do a little test run today and a demonstration to show you. So the next thing we'll do is we'll go in here and I'll show you the next breaker that this is on that we cut off and on as we go. All right, so Lippy's brought us in here. This is in my little shed outside, right beside. The outside is where we was, behind this breaker box. That patch cord you see is running through the wall to the breaker box, and the top left shows the generator. I've got it labeled, and it stays off until we get ready. We fire the generator, kick the main breaker on the generator switch, and then flip this breaker. And at that time, it backfeeds. As you can see, it'll backfeed Lippy's shop, the outside, the lights, anything we want in here. And it also feeds power back to the breaker box in the house. Okay, now you will see that we are in here in the pantry where the main breaker box is. So this is where all the fire and the wire has to go, right? If you'll look at the box, you'll see there's different color codes. I got the green being for go. That's what you leave on, or that's what we can leave on and run at all times. And anything that's orange gets cut off. That's the first thing you do. When we go to turn the power, once power goes off, we go to start the generator, we come here, and the first thing we do is hit this box first. Now, if you do not already have outside power, okay, I've got outside buildings. I was lucky and blessed to already have a 50 amp plug and wire already run out to that for a weld machine, okay? If you don't, you have nothing existing, you're gonna have to run from this breaker box and put an exterior plug. You can be on the outside of the house. All right, now if you're like we are in a brick home and you don't quite know how to do it or don't have anybody to do it, I'll tell you another way too. But you're gonna have to put in an existing plug in order to tie in, okay? So, way it is, you either gotta put a plug, there's two options. Either put a plug in yourself, or if you can access the dryer, and you have electric dryer or electric stove and you can access them, once again though, you got a patch cord run into the house, okay? But it can be done with that, all right? It's best to have one outside, mount one outside, get one installed. But if not, last resort, you can use the dryer plug and or if you got electric stove. And then all you do is backfeed your 220 in your panel, same way we're doing from out there. So, I guess at this time, we need to, what do you think? We need to do a test run?
Yeah, let's do
Explain
a test run. Yeah.
Kind of go over it.
Like if the power was out,
Right.
What would we do?
Okay, so we're having a wonderful event. Everything's going good. I mean, you know, we had a little storm, or sometimes you're going to need a storm here, but all of a sudden, oh Lord. Well, if you had one of them high dollar home generators, it would probably already be back on right now, but some of us don't. So we get our flashlight, and the first thing we do, always, number one, kill the main. Cut it off. Then I've marked everything that I cannot run all the time, and I go down and I cut all the oranges off. So now all my greens are on. We're ready to run. Now we got to go to the generator. Okay, so we had our handy flashlight because here where we're at, 90% of the time it's going to be dark by the time this comes through and happens. So we come out, and we always turn our fuel off and let it run till it runs out. It's just a habit I've had for years. So we turn our fuel on, and then we're going to turn our choke on, and we make sure that our generator button is off on our main breaker, and we're going to fire it up. So now we're going, you heard the generator load, because it just loaded everything in the house that I got on them green breakers. Plus Lippy shed with her window unit, air conditioned. We have a window unit, which we can talk about that some more. We got two window units, some portables we run, but we got another option. Okay, so now we're back in the house, and as I was saying out there, we have a window unit in Lippy's business so we can stay climate controlled all the time. We have another window unit that we can put in the house in our bedroom if we need to, plus a little roll around portable. I can run these two window units and everything else off of that generator, but there's another option, okay? you got central heat and air. We have a heat pump. By installing a soft start, that's why I said it was so important to make sure that your starting watts are as high as you can get it when you make your initial investment, because that's what you're going to need in order to kick a compressor on an AC unit. But by putting in the soft start, it will allow you to do that with a 8,500 to 9,500, as long as you're running a 3 to 4 ton. Now, if you're running something bigger than that, you're going to have to, of course, up your amperage. So, as you can see, we're back in the house. We are on generator power right now. We can run every light just by doing that now. Every light switch, every plug, everything works in the house now. It's because we're back feeding the whole panel, the entire panel.
3 refrigerators and 4 freezers.
Yes, 3 refrigerators, 4 freezers. AC in her building.
AC in our bedroom.
AC in the bedroom. The well, which it's only when it kicks on. The sewer pump and aerator, when it's coming a bad storm and it's raining, I mean, it's so much groundwater that comes across headed from there out to the road till it will start backing up if you don't have the power. Well, then what happens? You can't flush the toilet. So it's got to be running. But we can manage with that generator. We can run everything that I got on right now that I'm telling you about. Now,
1,700 square feet.
if I need to, I can run the stovetop. All I got to do is go cut the well off to make sure it don't kick on. We can turn the stovetop on. She can run a burner, and I'll have to go get a hot plate or something else out. Also, if it's been a long time, when we're out for 2 or 3 days, we've got the well, but I can cut the well, and anything that I don't need off, I can turn the hot water heater on, let it run for an hour or 2. That way we can have a shower, a good hot shower. You got air conditioning. Only thing you got to make sure is that generator's ready to go and that you got plenty of gas. When I say plenty of gas, how long is your usual span, time span of how long you're going to be out?
And we keep what,
We
50
never know.
gallons?
Well, around 45 to 50
45,
gallons.
50 gallons.
And right now, like I say, I've got it in gas cans. I know it's a little higher to do it, but I'm going to advise getting a non-ethanol. I'm going to advise putting some stable in it. And I'm going to advise to cut your gas off and run it out every time. That keeps your carbs good. But, right now, like I say, we're on electric power. We're going to install the soft start. And at that time, we'll be able to run the central air conditioning. And even in the wintertime, which we run fireplace most of the time when it's out, but we would be able to run the heat pump as long as it wasn't below 40 degrees where you had to run the actual electric strip. Now, it won't run the electric strip, not that size. It takes a lot more than that. It'd probably take 15 kW.
But we can heat the house with a fireplace here.
But we got a fireplace, and we can run the heat pump with that, both of them going, and it won't be any problem keeping everything like we need it.
So now let's pretend power has come on.
Okay, the meter. If you got these little digital meters, which most everybody's got a smart meter now, or at least a digital meter. This is what we have to watch when our power's out. If it's lit up, has any kind of display on it, that means we have power. If it's blank screen, then we don't have power. If you have what I call a booger light on a pole that you pay the electric company, a monthly deal on, well, you'll know when the power's back on because, of course, if it's night, it'll light up. Or if you're having, the bad thing in the daytime is you may not see it. It's going to light up and go right back out. But this is always our telltale sign to come look. So we know we got power. Now we're going to head for the generator and we'll start the process of knocking it back. All right, so we're back out of the generator. And the first thing I'm going to do is turn the fuel off. And then it's going to run. And when I start hearing the generator start to surge, then I'll flip the little breaker off on the side, kill the load, and then let the generator die, cut the key off. All right, now we took the load off of it. And if you have electric start, always remember to turn your key off so your battery's not dead the next time. Okay, we're back in the little shed out here. And we got to turn the generator off. That's to make this safe, so when we turn our power back on from the electric company, we're not back feeding into the generator. So the rest of this stays on, Lippy shop, all that, because once we go back inside, all of this will get power back to it. Came by, we made sure that our meter was still lit up. So now we're gonna put the main back to the electric company. All right, and so now I can turn this switch over here. And we should have power here. So now we gotta turn each of our orange breakers back on, because now we need those and we can run them all the time. And that is it. I mean, it's just that simple. Well, I hope this answered questions that y'all had. I hope it's been somewhat a little bit informative to help you out for DIYing your own generator and tying it into the house. This way is a whole lot better than extension cords, especially if you got somewhere you can set it and not have to move it, get it out every time. And without it, when we first got here, we had cords running through the back door and through the windows, and I mean, you can only run so much off extension cord. So it's been a life blessing to have this hooked up this way. So if you have any questions or you need to know something, email us. But like we say, remember, if you're not familiar with electricity, get somebody to help you that is. Don't do it on your own. It's very, very bad deal. I don't want nobody getting hurt. So.
And I will leave the link to the Soft Start brand that we are recommending.
Right. So it'll be the one that we're going to purchase and put on our unit.
Down in the description.
And I mean, even not just the generator, a Soft Start protects your compressor on your unit, and it makes it last longer as it is. So, guys, we enjoyed it. Hope y'all did. And I guess we'll see you in the garden maybe tomorrow. Until then, God bless.